Good morning, everyone. Thank you for making the trip here to Seattle for the Ahead of Their conference. That's always good to start with a weather joke, right? But in all sincerity, thank you all for being here today. It's a really amazing topic, and it's just great to see everyone here. Dozen eggs, milk, coffee. Hang on. I think I have my grocery list. Give me one second. I had the wrong speech.
You had one job, Caleb. You had one job, and you didn't do it. Well, I'm going to do what most of us have probably already done. I'm going to ask ChatGPT to write your introduction for you.
Thank you. I'm really sorry.
All right, let's see what we got. Look at that, opening remarks by Caleb. Let's get a warm professional welcome speech for Ahead of the Curve conference, hosted by the Napa Valley Grape Growers. Let's see what we get here. All right, sir.
That's me.
This is you.
All right, thank you. I'll be more prepared next time, but thank you, ChatGPT, for this. On behalf of the Napa Valley Grape Growers, thank you for being here. It's always powerful to gather this community of thinkers, doers, and leaders who care deeply about the future of Napa Valley agriculture. This year's conference was built around a simple but urgent question: how do we grow smarter in a time of rapid change? From climate stress to labor costs to shifting consumer trends, the pressures on growers have never been greater. And while the world is buzzing with AI headlines and automation breakthroughs, we know that agriculture, our agriculture, is just beginning to test these tools in meaningful ways. That's why today is about cutting through the hype, not to chase the next shiny object, but to ask, how can technology serve our farms, our people, and our land? What's real? What's coming? And what can we start doing now? So thank you for showing up, for being open to learning, and for your continued commitment to innovation rooted in stewardship. Let's get started. Hey, that was pretty good. So essentially, I don't ever have to write a speech again, is what you're saying?
I got you.
So in case you didn't know, that was all scripted. We are paid actors. But I did want to make sure that we had an opportunity to look at how at least ChatGPT is being used in a real-world scenario. Just last week, one of our board members, Dan Petroski, ran me through an experiment. I guess you could say it's an experiment in progress that he's been working on for a couple of years now. And it pretty much blew my mind in terms of what this can do for you at a moment's notice just to create efficiencies from the winemaking side of things. So Dan, if you wouldn't mind coming up here, he's got a few slides to show you as well, and hopefully your mind will be blown as well.
Thank you, Caleb. Yes, so I went from being a winemaker at one vineyard, and it was pretty easy to kind of wrap my head around that. Now today I work with 17 vineyards, and my drive times is around 6 hours to get to and from my house to vineyards and back again. And so I spend a lot of time in my car, and when I get home, I really don't want to sit in front of a spreadsheet. So I started working with ChatGPT to put a lot of my historical data in so that when I'm driving, I can talk to it in the car and get answers immediately, or even in the field. Because for me, I was going to do this when I got home anyway, and I was gonna have to start looking at the different scenarios of which I would be kind of pointing this current vintage's reference to. And so as a winemaker, we always think of the current vintage as our past precedent. So what happened previously that's happening now that's gonna inform me as I make the winemaking decision. So the first thing I did 10 days ago, and then I had to show it to Caleb and Emily, was this. I asked ChatGPT, I put all my data into ChatGPT, 16 years of Masakan data. And it's actually not as much data as you think. It's actually 3 data points. I said, based on growing degree days today, tell me what other vintages in the last 16 years of Masakan are very similar. And it came up with, this was 10 days ago, it came up with 2024, 2019, and 2016. And then I said, okay, based on that growing degree data, can we start to think about when I should expect veraison in my Sauvignon Blanc and my Chardonnay? And could you look at those previous historical vintages and start to project out based on today and moving forward what the growing degree days are going to do, and then see when roughly that vineyard is going to have veraison. And then from that veraison point, I asked it to say, then look at the bricks accumulation from veraison to harvest, and give me an estimate as to when I think this vineyard will go through harvest. And so now basically what it's doing in 16 years, you all know vineyards swing this way and that way with regards to everything from bud break to harvest. So it's finding the similar examples over the course of time. And while it does that, it is now then giving me some insight as to what quality I should expect from the 2025 vintage. If 2025 is going to look like 2016, we're in for a fucking heck of a year. And that's because as a winemaker, I think of how the quality of those wine grapes made into wine and how it's been reported on by the critics and the powers that be. So 2016 was great, 2019 was great, 2024 you all know was great. However, yesterday I updated my model because this was from 10 days ago. I updated my model and I said, what is the current growing degree days? And 2024 left the conversation. Because as you all know, sitting in this room, between July 1st and July 30th of last year, we had 21 days over 100 degrees. So it now took those 30 plus growing degree days and put it into the model and said, you are no longer like that. But then, as an informed winemaker, I remember 2016, in August, hit a lot of days at low 80s, and then in September, hit some days in the high 70s. And it slowed everything down. So I can't just sit here now and say, okay, ChatGPT, you were right. I'm going to expect harvest and veraison to happen on these dates, because I know from physical empirical data that I was there that something happened on the other end of the spectrum. So basically, as you can see, I work with what Emily just rolled through was a conversation I had with ChatGPT about forecast my future as a winemaker, help me understand what vineyards I need to go to now. And then I asked the next question, can you draft me a mileage plan so that I can actually be more efficient in my car? Like, that's not in here, but that was the next step of this. It's like how I'm working with this. So if you put in like where your vineyards are, the addresses, where you live, where your winery addresses are, they can map all that out for you for efficiency on the road. I can tell you how much gas money I'm going to spend this year at harvest already. Like that's like how cool this is. And if you're a business and you're running a vineyard management company, you can start forecasting your expenditure as well. If it gets an elongated harvest, you know you're going to have multiple trips to the vineyard, you're going to spend more money on gas. Like, so these things can be projected here. But the 3 data points that built this whole model for me were growing degree days, harvest, veraison date and bricks, and harvest date and bricks. And it was, over time, able to calculate everything else in between. And I trust it. And when it's wrong, I tell it it's wrong, and I ask it to go back and redo the information, and it gets it right. So that's what I showed Caleb and Emily last week, and that's what we did as a little run here. But I just wanted to give you the idea of how this process, how as a winemaker I'm utilizing this tool. And this is ChatGPT 4.0. I pay $20 a month.